How did you get into the Web3 space?
It was a miracle. I was working in huge banks, like in top 10 banks in my country. I was building innovations there. I was working with startups.
You could have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it,
They need to be sales people from the first step. They need to understand how to take their product and to give it to the market. I believe in future money. I believe in future tech.
Welcome back to the CryptoNoobz podcast, where we talk about cryptocurrency and the world around it. I am your host, NelsonRecardo.x, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Lamont Astwood, aka Crypto Lambo.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about building successful Web3 startups with our great friend here, DASHa. So Dash, just a little bit about her. She is a startup mentor of about 10 years in corporate innovation accelerators, and she's mentored startups with early stage funding. So first and foremost, I'd like to introduce our friend DASHa. And I just want to know, man, DASHa, like, how are you doing?
Actually, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm in Dubai right now. I'm visiting GITEX. It's a huge conference about startups, about future technologies. I saw maybe 200 robots during these days. They're dancing. We're dancing with robots here. So it's a nice place to be right now. And I'm happy to visit this podcast because I saw it in my friend's account. She's also a builder, Web3 builder. She's a startup owner. We just met on Token 2049. It was a huge conference for Web3 builders 2 weeks ago. I met 9 startups. So it's a lot, all about innovations during these days. I love builders. I love people who create our future. So I'm happy. Thank you.
That's amazing, man. One of the things that I'd want to know is, like, how did you get into the Web3 space? Like, what was the aha moment that brought you in here?
It's a really interesting story, actually. It was a miracle. Yes, so I was working in huge banks, like in top 10 banks in my country. I was building innovations there. I was working with startups. We were creating new products for people, but it was general banks. And then I moved to Cyprus. It's a nice country, nice island. And I decided to join Web3 world, actually, because I believe in future money. I believe in future tech. Yes, and I explored all the field, and I understood that Web3 technologies, they help us to build a world without bridges, and they help us to connect and communicate all over the world. That's why I started to learn about Web3 and started to learn new words, actually, because you need to learn a lot of things to start working with Web3 builders. And I joined some startups. Actually, it was not startups. It was infrastructural one. We was building confidential computing technologies. It's for companies who wants to connect their data and to do some projects on their data, but to make it unknown for each other, to make it not visible for each other, because they're competitors and they need a special environment to combine their data. Then somehow I was traveling to Switzerland and I met ICP, Internet Computer Guys. It's a Switzerland layer 1 blockchain. Right now they are global, and I starting to work with them in a global adoption team. We were building hubs, it's entities of the layer 1 blockchain that spread the word about this blockchain in different countries. For example, Solana have super teams, IT have hubs, Ton also has global communities, and it's how a decentralized blockchain builds their networks all over the world. So they just make some great.
All right. I like that. Dash, you say you come from like the corporate finance area, so you came from a lot of big banks. Now, I work in traditional finance, and I assume we might have had the same thought process that got us into Web3. I'm assuming you're welcome to say exactly like what drew you to Web3. But I'm assuming you saw like inefficiencies or things that could be more automated, or for example, like blockchain just creating like a whole trustless system in the finance realm and just making transactions easier. So what are some things you saw what Web3 could have solved relating to the traditional finance space? Like, what were some of the things that actually drew you, like some of the technology that really piqued your interest?
First of all, I work with people from different countries, from different parts of the world. And for me, it's really important to have an ability to pay them. And sometimes, for example, I work with people from Nigeria or from some parts of Africa, and some of these countries are underbanked or their bank system is not connected to global one. Because actually Web2 banks, yes, they build innovations, but they need a lot of time for it. So to connect people in terms of exchanging money and in terms of exchanging experience is really helpful. Yes, this is the most important part. Secondly, I like Web3 style and I like the vibe actually, because I am all about freedom and about possibilities for people and about community owned projects. That's why I chose Web3, because in general banks and in general world, you need some authorities to decide if your project will go on or not. And in Web3, all the things, the community and DAOs deciding about the projects, about how to develop something, and they all take part in these projects. So it's really cool. Well, all people who build the project, they can decide what to do next. They can vote. Yes, it's really a clear system. And people who take part and who spend time on something like a project, a DAO, crypto, something like DeFi or GameFi, they're all built and they play and they use this project and they vote with their tokens about the future of this project. And that's how I see this world. That's why I joined.
I got you. Yeah, because definitely Web3 does teach you how to think outside the box compared to traditional finance. Traditional finance very hierarchical, whereas I notice in Web3 is very much like a web itself, like it's more so network based as opposed to structure and like pyramid based in hierarchical structure.
Yeah.
Actually, I actually want to dive more into your community background. Definitely, I love how with DAOs you actually bring a community together and the community would actually decide what decisions are going to be made and what's not. And it's something that, although we've seen before Web3, I think Web3 really emphasized it to where people really started to understand that there was power in the people, right? But
Yeah.
my question to you would be, let's just take it back to say your first startup experience, right? What advice would you give yourself about building a community and traction? Like, what advice would you actually give like your past self about those things?
It's an interesting question. So the story. Right now, I'm working with Dash blockchain a lot. Dash blockchain, it is a private blockchain owned by a community, by DAO. They don't have a foundation. So when I came to Web3 world, I met a lot of blockchains, layer ones, and I wanted to quit corporate culture. But I started to work with foundations. And actually foundations are also corporations because they have departments, they have people who decide something, they have budgets. So my advice for me will be like, look for the actual true DAO, because I was working 3 years in Web3 world and only just right now I am at Dash blockchain that is owned not by a foundation, by a community and DAO. Actually, the community of developers, of builders votes there. And that's how I, for example, get to these conferences in Dubai, Token 2049. Years ago, I haven't understood all the field of Web3 and how it works. Well, my advice will be like, look for a true DAO who is not a corporation, people who decide on voting, who decide on projects, who have like nice community, who communicate openly inside it and outside with people. It's really important to understand how it works.
Now, Dash, just to piggyback off that, right? The advice you give yourself. When you work with like startup founders, me and a friend, we was having a conversation one time. We was talking about like a lot of crypto firms compared to like traditional finance firms. So you have crypto firms, the most notorious probably being FTX, of a firm getting a lot of high interest. So it's like, what I mean high interest is they peak very fast. They go up very fast. But the downfall comes much quick, like not long after they are rise. So it's almost like they try to do too much too fast. So what would you give, what advice would you give founders, or what would you say you've seen when founders try to move too fast without, I guess, properly, like having certain controls in place, if you will?
So it's the really important one. When you're early stage fund, when you come to crypto world, you're so impressed about all this money. So you want to launch a token, you want to earn this money by community, because all people actually wants to be rich, understandable. But the more important is to build something useful for people and to make long-term relationships with the market. Because we all know about that hype on Web3 market. We all know that people don't trust some projects because of all of these stories from pumps and lumps. And me as a true builder, I understand that it's important to develop something that people will, to make prototype, to test the first audience, to make MVP, to go to the market, to understand your product market fit, to understand your audiences with whom you will work and for which part of our planet you build, what ideas you have, why you are comparing your project with future and how you will compete with them, about launching the simple token, not only about earning money from the community. It's all about doing something important and useful for our future. So I work only with startups who has a structured plan, what they do, how they build, who has talented companies, talented people inside of it, talented developers, designers, marketing guys. I always check with whom I work, and I always tell them that they will all earn all this money in future, but right now they need to build to understand what people need.
Definitely.
And I definitely love your point about actually building, and not just building your product, but also building relationships that the money is going to come. What I want to know as builders ourselves, you know, and this is even for all the builders who are going to be watching this podcast, when should you as a founder actually look for monies like sponsorships or grants or any sort of fundraising? Like, when do you know it's time to start looking for fundraising versus just, you know, bootstrapping it?
So I really love founders who can bootstrap, but sometimes to build something impressive, you need budgets. And I love Web3 world because we have several steps for builders. For example, layer ones as infrastructures, they need DF builders and they have some money for them for the start. Yes, so layer ones have small amount of grants, for example, 10K, just to move from idea to prototype stage. Yes, so you need to understand your stage. You need to understand the salary that you need to pay for the developer. You need to evaluate the steps that you will take, and you need to apply for a grant program. And they will give you the exact amount of money that you need to eat, to sleep well, and to build your... Yes. So you don't take money for Lamborghini or to buy your new iPhone. You just take money to pay salary for your team. It's really important. Why it's cool that we have Web3 world and Web3 communities, because you don't give the money for marketing at the first steps. We all have communities around of us. We all have nice people like you guys who help us to spread the word about our projects, who also earn money somehow on some huge players, on some advertising, and that's how you have this space for builders and you give it for them. So they need to evaluate what they really need and to ask this money from the Web3 world, from layer ones on top of them, what they built with, from their partners. And also, we have players for all the steps. So we have small grants from local communities. Then we have like second step grants from foundations. Then we have early stage venture capital firms and angels. Actually, we have a lot of rich crypto guys. They have huge amount of money that they earned on these pumps and dumps. You just need to find them and you just need to inspire them with your ideas. They have a lot of free money for them own, for their Lambos, and for you also as a builder. and they really believe in the Web3 world. That's why they will donate you. They will invest in you. So you just need to investor and to tell him about your ideas and to be impressful, actually, to be inspiring. Yes, because we all want to take part in the building of the future. It's really cool, actually. And in crypto world and in Web3 world, we have this opportunity to touch the future, to be there from these days. Yes, so you will find some support around you. Then you will find some venture capital firms, serious guys. They also will support you. But if they will see that you took all these first steps and that you had a plan and you made some proposals, you talked with people, you communicating, you network, you have a huge network of builders, of founders, of investors, of Web3 guys, they will see that you actually work, that you know what you are doing, and then they will also help you. They also will evaluate what you've done. They will see all the milestones that you went through. All what you have done, all your documents, all your IT documentation. It's also important to make it right. Yes, to be visible, to be clear for the people who will invest, so they can try your product. Please give them this DM, ask them to tap these buttons to understand what have you done, to try it. It's also important.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, because I've heard VCs actually say, you know, they want to see what founders do with a little before they give them a lot. Like, I've noticed that.
Yes. So about what founders have done, I work with really early stage startups. And even when they don't have a prototype, they can do something. They can start their social medias and communities. They can be honest with this community and telling people which steps they will proceed, how they build, what have they done during this week, which updates they have. They need to show people their story. They need to build in public. It's a trend right now. They need to explain all the hard things that they get from the life, like how to find your team members, how to communicate with this layer one and investors, where they will find their audience, what are their plans for marketing. And when they will say all these things to their communities and preparing prototype during all these conversations, when the prototype will be ready, all this community, they will understand their story and they will support them. They will be the first users. They will be early adopters. They will try everything that they come up with. Yes, they will try all their builds. They will make comments. They will make advice what to do next. They will give feedback. It's really important for early stage startups to have a feedback from the first steps. It's really important to go out of your own minds and go to audience. Ask them questions, ask them what they need and how they think, and create a product together with people. Because in Web3 world, it's really important to communicate with each other, and we have a treasure. Yes, we have all our customers, future customers around us, and it is really cheap to communicate with them. To create a group in Discord or in Telegram, it's cost nothing. And to ask people about their advice, it's also take few minutes. And it is the really and most important step, I think, for each startup.
Valuable information. And it really does show that while you're building whatever it is that you're building, to actually get that feedback from your community. Because, and I love how you said that, because it's so simple, but yet I feel as if a lot of people make that mistake where they don't ask their community, they don't ask their customer, hey, what do you want? You know, like, we're building this. What all would you like to see? And it's crazy because your customer would actually tell you, hey, this is what I would want, and I would actually pay for this if your product could do this. But, you know, I feel as if some people sometimes might not look at that, you know? So that brings you to my next question, right? What's a common mistake that you see a lot of founders and startup communities make?
Yes, actually, there are a lot of mistakes. I think I know hundreds of mistakes that they make. Yes. So, first of all, when you're early stage startup, you think that you don't need to be a business. Yes, you are like a startup, you are creators, you build something in the future, you are so cool, but actually you are a business and you are here not only to build something, but also to earn money for salaries for your people and to make profits. Because all business is about it. Yes, it's not just an impact project. You came here to the market to build something profitable. So you need to understand where your earnings are. What is your business model? Yes, so how you will earn this money. It's really important to test some different ideas, to have some hypotheses. And it's important to understand and to test really what people will pay for. Because if you do something and you don't have any price and you test it with zero price, it doesn't mean that in future when you will make price for it, people will pay. So when you make something, just ask people about $1, $2 or something like that to really analyze if they pay for your product or not. It's important to understand how will you get your incomes. And also as a general business, you need to understand your structure. You need to think about who is your CEO, how the team operates. Yes, how they all communicate with each other, make some processes, write them down. You are not like a school group of people making some project. You are doing real business. Yes, so people in your team, they need to understand who needs to do what. Yes, what mission they have, what day-to-day duties they have. You need to, because some Web3 projects, they are built on hackathons. Yes. And it is like a school or university teams and they don't know how to build a real business. And when they start to grow, it is a mess. Yes. So they need to think that their business from the first steps. They need to have a documentation because, for example, some developers, they will leave the project because I don't know, they want to build something else or they move to other country or they have some personal issues. So you need to write down everything that you've done because future generation of your company, they need to understand what have been done and they need to read these documents and to understand how all it works. So think that you're a real business and build a real business from the first steps. It's really important.
All right. Makes sense. So you work a lot like building communities, and I must admit I was stalking you on Instagram and I went to Unicorn Embassy. I see that I had to put a lot of stuff in Google Translate. So you guys do like networking and meeting up and I guess presentations of certain projects. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, so I have actually 3 agencies that I built. I have a lot of work. So first of all, I am from Slavic community and for all regional communities, it's important to become global, to understand how other locations works, the cultures of people, the language. Actually, I don't know why, but people don't know English. They don't learn it. They want to build global projects, but they don't speak with global audience. So in Unicorn Embassy, we help Russian-speaking founders, the Slavic community, to become global. We help them to fundraise. We help them to find talented resources and locations that they want to invade. And then we help them with go-to-marketing strategies in different regions. Because we all live different lives. All markets are different. We have competitors. We have traditions that are already there. And it is important when you become global to understand where you operate and what is the specific of these places that you want to sell your product. It's about Unicorn Embassy. But also I have an agency called Reilience. I work with Web3 startups. I divided them. Yes, so Unicorn Embassy is for Russian-speaking community and Web3 Reilience agency is for Web3 speaking community. Yes, because it's the whole new world, actually. That's why I separated these projects. And in Reilience, I actually do the same thing because it is really 3 important things for founders like fundraising, talents, and marketing. Because they can build, all these technical guys, they can build the project like really nice technology, really nice products, but they all need to understand how to talk to audience, how to sell. They all need to be business developers. They all need to be sales, good marketers. and they don't have actually money for this CMO guys because they're really expensive and you don't have these budgets and the first step. So these builders, they need to be sales people from the first step. They need to understand how to take their product and to give it to the market in the beautiful cover so people want it. So that's how we help them.
Appreciate that. I like that. I like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So I guess just more so, also like the comment on it, because I find it really cool that you're working with the agencies and actually building those communities, because some people, they really don't understand the importance of having a network. And like what you mentioned fundraising, talents, and marketing. A lot of people overlook the marketing aspect, because I listened to somebody and they told me best known beats best with some products and sometimes in business. And I really think a lot of people really overlook that. You could have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, it isn't really going to be as viable, because you're going to have other competitors who are going to come and they're going to have their product outshine yours, even though their product might not be as good as yours. But I notice in the crypto space and Web3 space, a lot of people, they're pushing a lot of like on LinkedIn and especially like Twitter. And that's something I think we're actually trying to catch up with when it comes to our marketing and getting our names out there, because trying to get back up on Twitter and all that. What advice would you give anybody who's really like trying to get their name out there and they might feel as though marketing is not their strong suit or sales is not their strong? A lot of people, they shy away from those aspects of, putting their self out there. You have a lot of people who work well in the back end and the back office, but when it comes to front facing roles, they're not really into it as much. So what advice would you give them, or would you tell them to partner up with someone that's their natural talent?
Actually, I have a story for this question. So, yes, I really like infrastructural projects, and I really like projects that are built by true developers, engineers. And I met Dash blockchain recently. And this is a community, huge community of builders, engineers, developers. And there are a few marketing people inside. Like not all of them even wants to be public seen. Yes, because it's private blockchain. They build some private stuff and they want to live their private lives. It is all the idea of this project is to be private, and they don't like to communicate in public, but they build a nice payment solution. They have some really great infrastructural ideas that they're developing, but market actually don't know about it because they're not marketing people. They don't want to network. They want to live their own lives. They don't have these talents. And that's why they found me. That's why they found, for example, Joel. It is a nice and really great marketing person, business developer. They found us. They found talented people who support their ideas. We really believe in this project. We really believe in what they do, because I believe that all our transactions, they should be private. We need to own our information, our data, and we need to have a freedom of sharing this information and actually of selling this information, because all this data, it costs money, because all these banks, all these retail companies, all of them, they need this data and they actually build their projects and their incomes on this data. So I want to sell it for them. I don't want to give it for free. Yes, that's why the Dash community, they found me, they found Joel. We love this project and we represent them. I represent them in public spaces. I go to conferences. I wear their merchandise. I have some nice shirts and some nice dresses with the logo. Yes, actually, it is a nice story also in this story that I have my name, DASHa. So my full name is Daria, but the short name for my friends is DASHa, and it also reflects the Dash project. Yes, so it was a perfect match for us, actually. Yes, so if you don't have these talents and abilities of sales, marketing, business development, there are a lot of people around you who learn this stuff, who are talented in it, who also wants to join your product, but they can't build. For example, for me, I can't build a startup. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how to code. Yes, I'm only learning vibe coding right now. But I love to work in startups. I love the spirit of innovations. So that's why I want to spend my time and I want my talents to be seen in this Web3 space. That's why I joined the Talented Dash project. And I give them my talents and my ability to network, to connect, to travel all over the world, to speak with different people, to be on podcasts. So just find your talent in marketing field. Just like talk with them, try to convince them that your project is the best one, and they will help you. They will spend their time and talents for you.
I love that. I love that. And this is just a side note as well. I remember actually checking some of your social medias. And I remember, I think you were speaking about Ikigai.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ikigai being when you find something that is, okay, how do you explain it again? I know you could give better explanation than I could.
Yeah. Well, Ikigai, for people who don't know, it's a Japanese concept about how to find your mission in your life. We all are special creatures. Yes, we was made for something. We have this special experience, talents that fits perfectly for some reason, for some mission. And there are four criteria how to understand if you're doing the right thing. So first one, people need to pay you. Yes, so if you do something and people don't pay for you, it's maybe not your mission. Then you need to be experienced in something. Yes, so if you spend the time to learn how to do something, it's also a really important part. Your mission, you need to be not only talented in it, but you also need to be experienced and you need to learn something. You need to understand how it works. The next one, I am all about the world and about doing something for the world. So world have its needs and your mission should fit the needs of the world. And the last one, the most important, your heart should be warm when you do something. Yes, so you need to love what you do. If you every morning you are tired and you don't want to go to your job, it's not your mission. Stop doing it. Just don't do it. Leave it for other people. There are a lot of jobs around us. You will find the perfect match for you. I am sure. Yes, so this is the Ikigai concept, and it is important because people who live with Ikigai initially they live on Okinawa Island and they live more than 100 years because it is connected. Like if you do something that you love and if you have your mission in your life, you will live longer. You will have more years on this earth.
My goodness, that means I think a lot of people need to just leave their jobs right now. They are not very
Definitely. Sure.
My advice is not to leave the job or quit it tomorrow. You need to understand your budget. You need to understand how to earn a little bit money to have a food, just to have a place to sleep where you sleep, like to be comfortable. Yes, because when you want to do something brilliant, to build something important for the people, you just need to eat first. You don't need to suffer. Yes, think about it that you have a whole day, like you have 24 hours divided into parts and spend your energy on different stuff like your daily duties, your today job and your future mission and your future targets. You also have time for it. You just need to be smart, not to spend your time a lot in social media. You need to learn. Yes, you need to improve. You need to listen to some good experts. You need to learn actually every day something new because you have this brain and it becomes older and older. And if you learn something, you help it, not to die too early.
Yeah, that was more so. You say you built over 50 communities, right? Or you work with a lot of different communities. When it comes to building a community, do you have target demographics, or do you say all right, when you're going from the idea of this particular startup or whatever, what is some of the thought process for you to getting from the idea to a community and to execution? Because it seems as though you like to build a community first before you really get to that execution stage or finalization stage, if you will, because like you mentioned earlier, the community provides a lot of that early feedback. So it's almost like they give you that research and development prior to you actually entering the market on a wider scale. So when you're trying to build a community, is there a specific thought process? Is it like more one size fits all, or do you look at the specific founder or the specific startup itself when you're trying to build?
Yes. So idea is general for everyone. First of all, you are not the first one. You have communities all around and you need to use them. When you don't have your own community and you have early stage startup, actually you are surrounded by a lot of other communities, and this is the sources of your people. You need to go to other spaces. You need to read their rules. It's really important. All communities, they have their own rules. You need to talk to community owners, actually. So you need to explain them what you built and what you want to do and why, and you should inspire them also. So if you inspire them and if you tell them about what you want to do in these communities and for these owners, they will help you to spread the word about what you do. And that's how you start your own community. Yes, you have people all around. You have some community meetups. I think that in all regions, in all locations, people gather to communicate about their businesses. That's how you start. Yes, you go there. Go out your room. You need to talk to people. You need to meet real people. If you don't want to go out of your room, go online. It's also helpful. Yes, you have all these Web3 guys around and you have all this support around you. And actually, I love to tell that you can be global from the first day, because if you try to understand in which channels people operate, yes, which channels we use. So in different countries, we use different social media, for example. We use different community platforms. Just make a research, understand where people live, where they spend their time. Try to use like ChatGPT or Google Translator to talk with people on their own language. I do it, yes. So if I go to Italian, I speak Italian there, actually, because I have all these technologies supporting me with it right now. It's really simple. It's taking like 5 seconds to translate and not to make mistakes, because Google Translator make a lot of mistakes, but new AI technologies, they're really helpful. So talk with people in their channels and in their language. It's the simple advice. And that's how you will build your own community from the scratch. Yes. And also it's important about like the funnel. Yes, you meet these people, they enter your community, then they need to understand what to do there. You need to have some rules. You need to have some instructions. For example, in our DASH community, people are always really supportive. So people who are inside, the community owners, the builders, they answer all the questions. And they answer these questions not tomorrow, not in 1 week. They answer these questions of newcomers from the first moment. Yes. So it's really important for me, because I was working with different Web3 projects with different layer ones. And sometimes when I find a nice startup and it enters the Discord of some layer one team and trying to understand how to build project on top of this layer one, they have a lot of technical questions and they are waiting for the answers like for 3 days, for 5 days, and they deciding to leave and to enter other project. Yes, so it's really important to talk to people in the same moment that they ask their questions, because they have a desire, they have a passion right now to understand what is going on, and they need all this answer. So you need to be supportive in your community. And if you asked people to join, please think about your community as your home. Yes, if you ask people to join your home, you need to navigate there. Like, where is the kitchen? Where is the balcony? Where is the toilet? What to do here? Do you need to get rid of your shoes? Where is the water to drink? Yes, you need to be like kind person in your community, like it is your home. It is the best advice, I think.
I like that. I like that.
We are nearing the end. So the question, my final question to you would be, so you've helped You've helped tons of communities. You've helped people turn ideas into something bigger than themselves. Tell us, what's the legacy that you hope to leave in the Web3 world?
Yes. So for me, the main important word is freedom. Yes, I like to do what I like. I like to spend my time on projects that I want. I like to do the job that I love. Yes, and I see that Web3 world is giving it for me. I understand that we have a lot of rules around us. We have a lot of governments, a lot of businesses, Web2 guys that wants to own our data, our money. They want to earn more. But I think that the only thing that it matters, it's people and people who are happy. Yes, so the main important thing for me to make people, like to make their dreams come true, to make them smiling every day. And I see that all this Web3 community is really positive guys. I love to surround me with these positive guys and with these positive vibes. Yes, so for me, like, let's build the freedom in our future, like build the prosperity for all of us. Let's build something that we will love and adore in future times, years, and future lives, actually, because we don't live once. We will be back. Let's think about our future selves and build something nice and make each other happy. It's really important. That's what we all do here in Web3 world.
I absolutely adore that answer. It's just about freedom and building together. I would like for our audience to know, where could they find you and what are your social handles?
Yes, so you can find Daria Chernozub in all channels. Actually, I also use Web3 Daria sometimes, but now I'm DASHa because I joined Dash blockchain and I like how our names combined. But you can find Daria Chernozub in Instagram, in LinkedIn, in Twitter, in Facebook. I use all this social media because, as I said, we all use different channels. Yes, and we need to communicate with people in channels where they live. So I have all this social media. I have 3 telegrams actually for Web3 builders and for Web2 builders and for communities. So find me if you need an advice. I am actually a burner. I don't know if people know what is Burning Man, but we all love there to gift something. So I have a gift for all of you. I have my knowledge. I can ask all your questions. I can give you advice for free. Just communicate with me. Just connect with me. I have a lot of smart ideas. Let's exchange. Let's share. I like to help people. So you can find me and ask all your questions. I'll be there for you.
You guys hit it here first. Thank you, Daria. We really do appreciate you and all the knowledge that you've definitely given us. And for our audience, I hope that you go and you give this wonderful person a follow, and, you know, interact, learn something, and she's going to help you to build your project. All right. So with that being said, you guys have a great night. Bye, everyone.
Guys, thank you very much. Thank you for the talk. Bye bye.
Appreciate you joining us.